GM's designers are planning to drive this heavy-duty truck on the Rubicon Trail and on some of Moab's toughest trails, including Hell's Revenge. Let's look at what they built and see if they really can do it. This started as just another electronic truck project at GM. But when the designers started hankering for some serious off-road chops, somebody said, let's build a new Humvee. And what we're seeing now is military heritage applied to an electronic, rock-crawling, desert-running beast that couldn't be built using traditional methods. This is GM's Halo Super Truck that's going up against the Tesla Cybertruck, the Rivian RT1, and other off-road trucks like the Ford Raptor and the Ram TRX. When it comes to rock crawling, it has a max approach angle of 49.7 degrees, max breakover angle of 32.2 degrees, max departure angle of 38.4 degrees, and a max ground clearance of 15.9 inches. I say max over and over again because the truck has a four-corner, independent, adaptive air suspension system that can raise the truck 6 inches from its standard height in extract mode to help you clear obstacles. It will also take you to a very respectable water fording depth of 32 inches. Now you won't want to drive around in extract mode as there doesn't appear to be any wheel travel left at that height. But in standard or terrain mode, you'll get 13 inches of wheel travel. Since we're talking about the suspension, it'll also lower by 2 inches to make it easier to get in and out of, improve the aerodynamics, and it is used during high-speed acceleration in watts to freedom or adrenaline mode to lower the center of gravity of the truck and make it more stable. 35-inch tires are standard, but in keeping with the Hummer's military heritage, it can handle 37-inch tires without modification, bumping up your angles and ground clearance even further. As an added bonus, if you choose to go 37s, the gauges including the speedometer can be adjusted so everything is still accurate. Now, regardless of how high drivers are, they're still bound to scrape the undercarriage as they test their abilities and that of the Hummer EV, which is why it comes with full underbody protection. If they do manage to get this beast stuck, there are recovery shackles in the front and in the rear, but what we didn't see was an integrated winch in the bumper, which would have been stellar. Aside from angles and clearance, the next most important feature for off-roading is maneuverability. Especially for a truck that's 86.7 inches wide, has a 135.6 inch wheelbase, and is 216.8 inches long. A long time ago, we drove a Chevy 2500 with Quadra steer, and it was an amazing improvement for making tight turns and a huge help while trailering. The Hummer EV has four-wheel steer. Chevy engineers say it will be as easy to park as a Chevy Spark. So, at maneuvering tight trails, it should be awesome. Even more impressive is Crab Walk, which angles the front and rear tires 10 degrees in the same direction, moving the truck diagonally. Now, we have to admit that when we first saw it, we thought it was more of a party trick than a functional feature, but after some thought, there are times when it could save a few body hits on the trail. Traction is a big deal on the trail too, and every serious off-road vehicle has lockers, and so does the Hummer EV, sort of. Up front is a single electric motor that drives both front wheels. It comes with a driver-selectable e-locker. But the rear is driven by two separate electric motors, one for each wheel. There is no differential to lock. Here, the engineers created a virtual locker by electronically setting the motors to turn at the same speed. You can turn on the rear locker, or you can turn on the rear and the front locker, which will synchronize all four tires. If you're enjoying this video and love driving 4x4s or are planning to start, please hit that like button, subscribe, and ring that bell so you're the first to be notified when a new video comes out. Terrain mode will allow one-pedal driving for low-speed off-road driving. When you select it, the system optimizes regenerative braking, friction braking, and drive motor torque, slowing the truck whenever you take your foot off the gas. Throttle, accelerator? Getting over, around, or through tough spots is easier since you just focus on steering and the accelerator. Then there's the open-air off-road experience of a removable roof. The 4 panels can be stored under the hood, called a frunk, since there is no engine there, and the rear window goes down for an almost complete topless experience. 18 camera views let you see all around, but it's the underbody cameras pointed at the wheels that really help the most off-road. So you can pick your line. It's like having a virtual spotter. The engineers expected them to get dirty, so naturally there's a wash system for each. There are quite a few off-road trinkets and widgets. The inflation-deflation warning is interesting. The driver sets the pressure he wants to get to and then manually adjusts the tire pressure until the horn beeps. A central tire inflation system like the H1 has would have been a lot more impressive. The driver's dash is a configurable 12.3-inch screen, and the infotainment system has a 13.4-inch screen, large enough that you can run 2 different screens at once. It'll display all sorts of off-road info like torque output, wheel travel, tire pressure, pitch and roll angles, and chassis ride height. More importantly, is it has virtual switches for the aftermarket accessories you add, like lights and winches. We like the analog switches below the screen for the key off-road features like lockers. When you're getting bounced down a rough trail, hitting a digital switch is as tough as throwing a bullseye just before last call. Speaking of accessories, there will be over 200 available factory approved at launch. There are some marketing distortions surrounding the Hummer EV and EV trucks in general, and we'll clear the muddy marketing waters as they come up. And the first one is the 11,500 pound-feet of torque. Now this is wheel torque, not motor torque, and there's quite a bit of difference. Watch our motor versus wheel torque video called Crawl versus Cash. If we do the math using the gear reduction ratios of 13.3 to 1 in the front electric motor and 10.5 to 1 in the 2 rear motors, we get a total motor torque of roughly 1,000 pound-feet. The kind of torque you get in the new heavy-duty diesel trucks, which is a very solid number. My 2011 6.6-liter Duramax is about 780 pound-feet of torque, and it pulls like a freight train. Never mind the new Chevy 3500 heavy-duty, which yanked around a 30,000 pound trailer effortlessly. The 1,000 horsepower number looks to be on the money. 3 engines, 2 in the back and 1 in the front, are rated at 250 kilowatts of peak power. Since there's 3 of them, that totals 750 kilowatts, which translates into roughly 1,000 horsepower. And that's how you get from 0 to 60 in 3 seconds using Watts to Freedom, one of the 5 selectable drive modes. Watts to Freedom has all kinds of digital theatrics like a countdown, in-dash graphics, music, and a bass rumble for an amusement park-like ride as you virtually teleport to 60 miles per hour. Now there's also Adrenaline mode, which doesn't have all the in-cabin special effects, but it does take a whole second longer to reach 60. These are, dare I say, typical electric vehicle numbers. They're not all that special for EV trucks, none of which are in production as we make this video. But the numbers are impressive for a truck. The Ford Raptor is a benchmark off-road truck, and it takes 6.6 seconds to get to 60. GM says the truck is E4-wheel drive, which isn't exactly what you expect. There is no low-speed transfer case because electric motors have incredible instantaneous torque. The Hummer EV holds its peak torque through a wider speed range, up to 40 miles per hour, more than diesel engines. The other thing is, you can't select rear-wheel drive only, so it's really an all-wheel drive vehicle. For now, the E4-wheel drive label is just marketing. GM says the batteries will take you 350 miles on a charge, which should get you out for a day on the trails and back. And that they're capable of using a fast charging system that will go from empty to full charge in 30 minutes. The prototype truck shown is called the First Edition and only comes as the crew cab with a 5-foot bed. It'll ship in the fall of 2022 and will sell for $112,000 US. Apparently, reservations for this trim sold out in 10 minutes online, although GM hasn't said how many that is. Less expensive versions are planned to roll out in the following years, forecasted to come down to $90,000. If the Hummer EV was on dealer lots today, would you buy one? Instead of the current high-performance trucks in their luxury trims like the Ford Raptor, Ram TRX, or a Denali HD. assuming you had the money to spend. Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, share it. Smash that like button, and if you want to see some more, please subscribe and ring that bell so you're the first to be notified when a new video comes out. Until next time, stay safe, and we'll see you on the trails.